Mercy. I'm gonna be your dental hygienist today, okay? So why don't you go ahead and we can start with you telling me exactly what's going on, okay? Okay. Pain on which side? Okay. Yep, I can take care of that. And then, yep. And how often do you floss, brush your teeth? Brush twice a day, okay. And how often are you flossing? Not that much. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of everybody. It's really, really, really important that you floss though, okay? So it's really important that you remember that. You just try to do that, okay? Okay. Well, that's okay. Yeah, I know. It's alright. I know it's a little scary, but we're gonna do great, okay? And you're not gonna feel a thing. And if you have a cavity, we'll get it easy peasy, okay? So don't you worry about it, okay? Do you have any questions for me? Is there anything that you want to know about me? About what we're gonna be doing? Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, like I said, I'm Mercy. I'm your dental hygienist. And what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be cleaning the teeth. Okay, so I've got, let's grab it here. Everything's kind of just getting crazy. So we've got our toothbrush with our toothpaste, okay? That is going to be really important to be cleaning it. I'm gonna use this to look in there. It's got a little mirror so that I can kind of see what's going on, and a little light that gives me just a little bit more of a view. I've got this big old pick. This kind of just helps me look at your gums and see kind of, you know, how healthy they are. So the way that this works is I'll poke the gums and it goes by millimeters. So however many millimeters, and there's little tick marks on them. I won't be using these ones on you since I'm touching them, but they're little tick marks that are millimeters, and depending on which tick mark it is how much damage there is to your gums. So we would ideally like to have less, maybe like the 2 to 3 millimeter range. Some people get into 4, but really much further past the 4 millimeter range is where we start talking about, you know, gum health, gingivitis, stuff like that. 4 is kind of like we need to start making some changes, and then so on. And then of course we will be flossing, okay? Very important to get in there with the flosser. Very, very, very important. And then if you do have a cavity and you have something going on, okay, I'm gonna numb you up. We've got lots of little syringes, so we just poke it in there. It is a pinch. It does, you know, you will kind of feel it, but it doesn't last too long, and then you won't feel anything. It'll be numb. And then I've got my little pinchers. They help me just grab hold of the tooth so I can pull it out of there, okay? But we don't have to worry about that right now because we don't even know if you have a cavity, so don't you worry about it. Yeah, well, so lucky for you, I've got this here. So here's some more education. This is a tooth. This is kind of like what it looks like. These are kind of the roots. They're generally longer, but we don't need to show that much of the tooth. So this is the hard part, the hard casing around the tooth. This is the enamel. This is what really protects it, okay? And then what happens is sometimes we get bacteria that grow on there, and it's not always your fault. Sometimes it's just the anatomy of the tooth. Some people have more ridges at the top of their teeth than others, and that makes it really difficult to clean. There's really not anything you can do about it, unfortunately. But you're brushing twice a day, so I'm sure you're doing great. And then inside of the tooth, we've got this part. This is kind of like the soft tissue, okay, that is underneath. This is kind of like more where the gums would be and stuff like that. And then inside of there, we would have the root, and all of this would be kind of like going further down into this is like the nerve, and then this would be going into like the root of the tooth, like the bottom part, which again is longer. And then we've got our little nerve, and this is the part that we really don't want getting infected. That's where we end up having to do kind of like more of a root canal. And pulling it and stuff like that just depends. So when you think of a root canal, that's kind of what they're removing. So normally, depending on how bad it is, we would just drill into the top, and it would be like, okay, we remove it and then fill it, and it should be on its way. Some people need antibiotics first, and then moving forward, we would kind of drill down. If it's only in the enamel part of it, we don't really need to numb you. If it gets down in here, yeah, we would numb you. And then when it's really bad, we'll have to do a root canal, take the root out, and then that will hopefully get rid of the infection. If it doesn't get rid of the infection, then that's when we have to remove the whole tooth generally. Yeah, I know, a little scary, but don't worry. Yeah, that's okay. You don't have to worry about it. I'll walk you through all of it if we find anything, okay? And we'll talk about the options, okay? Yeah. Okay, well, give me just a second. I'm going to go ahead and get everything together, get some stuff that I haven't touched, and then we'll get started. Okay, so first things first, I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna use my little light here. I'm gonna take a look around. Okay, so we're just gonna I am seeing a cavity back there, okay? It looks like a pretty big one, but I'll just finish the assessment. We'll kind of see what our options are, okay? So, just one cavity so far, and then we've got this little thing here. We're gonna be just Alright, well, that's really good. I'm seeing 3s all around, so that's really, really, really good, okay? I'm gonna go ahead. I think we're gonna take care of that cavity before we do the cleaning, okay? How do you want to proceed? Do you just want us to take it off, or like what is it that you're wanting us to do right now? Okay. Okay, I can try to drill in there, yeah, for sure. Let me numb you up. It looks pretty big, so let me just and then let that kind of kick in there, and then let's see. Let's just drill into the tooth and see what we can get, okay? Give me 1 second. Okay, we've got our drill on now. And then let's just okay, yeah. So It's pretty far down there. It looks like we will have to probably take the tooth out, okay? Yeah, you can totally keep it if that's what you'd like to do. Okay. Yeah. So you're all numbed up still, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna just use my handy dandy. Oh. Oh, got it. Okay. Got it out there, so just gonna spray it out. Okay. And pack it with gauze. So just help all up in there. Okay. Now, that's just gonna stay like that and stay closed. So that's good. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna clean the rest of the teeth, okay? Okay, so we've got our toothbrush here. So first things first, we've got bubble gum on it for you. Okay, so yeah, be really careful not to get the open spot in the back. I'm gonna rinse you and then suck you all out, okay? So okay, looking good. That's looking great. How are you feeling? You're feeling okay? Okay. Well, now time for flossing, the most important part, okay? So let's see here. So yeah, make sure you wrap the floss around both sides, so of the tooth. Really important there, okay? Just to make sure that you get everything. Very good, very good. And you're looking very clean, okay? One more rinse and suction, so. And we're gonna go ahead, we're just gonna brush on the fluoride, okay? I know the fluoride stinks, but it's really important to your health of your teeth, okay? So okay, very good. We're gonna leave that on and let it sit for about 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna set you up, okay, so we can chat about the tooth and everything, okay? Okay. Alrighty, and how are you feeling? Yeah, I know it's a little hard to talk right after the numbing. I know. It's okay, I understand, yeah. Okay, well, would you like to see the tooth? Okay. So, this is your tooth, okay? Yeah, that big dark spot, that's the cavity. We did drill into it and it kept going, so we did have to just go ahead and take the whole tooth, okay? I know we kind of explained that, but I just wanted you to see kind of like what we were working with. I know it can be kind of frustrating and scary, so I just wanted you to definitely see that, okay? You are welcome to keep the tooth if you would like, but you don't have to. We can dispose of it ourselves here. Yeah, you want to keep it? Okay, I'll get that wrapped up in a baggie for you, okay? Okay. Well, I'm gonna let the dentist know that you're kind of ready, and yep, he's gonna check you out and everything, and alright. Yep, sounds good, and then they'll get you checked out at the front, okay? Oh, it was so nice to meet you, okay? Take care of your teeth, alright? And no solid foods for a couple of days, just Jell-O and ice cream, okay? Okay. Bye-bye.